Well, it's time for Business Now, and I'm joined by Catherine Pinnock from our business desk. Good to see you, Catherine. Now, we're going to start off in Hong Kong. This new security law from China has made investors pretty skittish. There have been some ramifications for business as well. Tell us, first of all, about the banks, though. How have they been reacting?
Well, foreign banks are now having to carry out these emergency audits of their clients to see who could potentially be facing US sanctions because of this new national security law, and the US, which in turn is thinking about posing sanctions. So the US Hong Kong Autonomy Act, which could be signed as early as next week, imposes sanctions on officials who go against Hong Kong's semi-autonomous status. And that actually includes the financial bodies that do business with them. So there are a large number of banks that could be affected, from retail banks such as HSBC and Citibank to investment banks and groups such as JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. Now, because Hong Kong's national security law makes it illegal to comply with US sanctions, what this actually means for financial institutions is that they may end up having to choose between whether they do business with the US or with China. In any case, for now, there's a lot of uncertainty until the US signs the act, which should be next week, and unveils a list of businesses that could be impacted. There's actually not a lot that financial institutions can do apart from study their own client lists and make preparations for potentially ending those relationships if necessary.
And this new law, it has some consequences for social media companies as well. The video app TikTok has been pulled from Apple's App Store and the Google Play Store in Hong Kong. They'd already stopped their operations in the territory earlier in the week. What ramifications are there for social media companies?
Well, so that's right. TikTok has pulled out. And this is all because the Hong Kong security law grants authorities the power to police and remove information online if it breaches that law. So as a result, TikTok is the first social media company to pull out on a matter of principle. But Twitter and Facebook are also taking a step back and studying what the law will actually mean for them as well. Now, what may seem contradictory about all of this is that TikTok is actually owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance, and that even though TikTok doesn't operate in China. So ByteDance is part of a whole storm itself, and ByteDance has been accused of censoring content that may upset Beijing, although the company has, of course, denied this. And there are also accusations that it shares user data with China. Now, TikTok has been trying to distance itself from its Chinese parent company. The company, for instance, hired an American CEO to rebuild trust with Western regulators. They're also considering shaking up management potentially and even moving their headquarters outside of China. So TikTok leaving the Hong Kong market isn't necessarily a huge blow for the company because their main market is in the US, and that's predominantly where they want to focus on gaining ground. But what could be dangerous for them in that case is if Trump decides to follow through on his threat to potentially ban the app in the United States.